Good morning, everyone. Welcome to this year's QuickBooks Connect. We are so excited to have you with us today. Now, it's been one hell of a year since we last spoke, and there's so much we could talk about today. But I want to get super focused on 3 trends that we're seeing here at QuickBooks, because I believe they matter to every person in this virtual room. Number 1, we've entered the era of the lockdown startup. Number 2, these lockdown startups operate in a completely new way. And number 3, digital is no longer a choice. So let's jump in. The pandemic has accelerated a bunch of new ways of working. The first is a giant wave of entrepreneurship. When you think about furlough, flat pay, stagnant business models during the pandemic, people were losing their jobs and businesses weren't hiring. But entrepreneurship boomed. There was a 14% increase in startups last year, and that's in a pandemic. A great example is a business owner we know really well called Millie. She was let go in the first lockdown, and she needed to make money. So she got really creative and used her design skills to build and sell a new take on products like candles, plant pots, and coasters. Now go and check out her business. It's called Terrazzo, and she's doing great. She's been inundated with orders. She's also inspired budding entrepreneurs by telling her story and picking up a whopping 250,000 TikTok followers on the way. I love stories like these, and I've seen a ton. But what I find really interesting is successful entrepreneurs like Millie have had so much impact that employees totally safe in their jobs are starting to look over the fence. 3 million people currently in the workforce want to start a small business. That's nearly 10%. So the pandemic accelerated entrepreneurship. It's also created a world where people couldn't physically be in the same space, whether that's in the office, in shops, restaurants, bars, and gyms. So here came digital. If you didn't use Zoom, Amazon, or Deliveroo 2 years ago, I bet you use them every week now. Digital has been normalized. It's just become easy. Think about financial technology, fintech. Now, let's have a bit of fun and do some virtual audience interaction. So pull out your phone. I know it's just right by you. Have a look at how many fintech apps you've got on there. I bet there's loads, right? A couple of banks, investments, insurance, loans. In fact, whilst you're on your phone, make sure that the QuickBooks app is on your homepage. A couple of years ago, this tech just wasn't there. And if it was really complicated. But now, 86% of the UK use fintech. Now, compliance has played its part in this shift. If you take making tax digital, for example, first it was for businesses that turn over more than £85,000 a year. Now it's for businesses that turn over under £85,000, and then everyone will jump into digital tax with Making Tax Digital for income tax and self-assessment in April 2024. We will be the most advanced digital tax economy in the world. This is amazing, and it will save a ton of time for everyone in this virtual room. So what happens when you combine entrepreneurship, the normalization of digital, and then you add in social distancing? You get a massive remote workforce. One beneficiary of this is the gig economy, which isn't a new concept. So we've seen big names like Uber, Just Eat, and Airbnb, and they've been around for years now. But suddenly, there are now 4.5 million gig workers in England and Wales, and they're really disruptive. There's a great gig company called Juno. They run a network of self-employed creative professionals like editors, copywriters, and producers. You sign up to the platform and commission gigs. If you're a creative, why take a full-time job in an office where you can earn well on your terms through a platform? If you're a big business, why heavily scale up headcount when a team can project manage gigs? So hopefully I've painted a picture of a new world of work. And in this world, the under 25s, Generation Z, which unfortunately I'm not part of, have really come of age and they've hit the workforce. I don't know about you, but I grew up with a landline. I remember my dial-up modem. I remember my good old Commodore 64. The technology Gen Z are growing up with gives them incredible advantages in the new world of work. They're social media natives, growing up with the metaverse, YouTube, and TikTok. They're really comfortable with fintech, whether it's digital banking or crypto. In fact, the other day, my friend's daughter was telling me about her crypto account in the same way I used to talk about my building society account. If you pair these digital natives with the entrepreneurial streak created by the conditions of COVID, you start to see hundreds and thousands of Gen Z sole traders with digital businesses. So where does this leave us? We've got a new world of work created by the pandemic. It's created a new type of small business. We call it the lockdown startup. And lockdown startups operate in new ways. Let me give you 3 examples. First, they're creating masses of content on social media as influencers, bloggers, and podcasters. And they live on platforms like YouTube, Spotify, and TikTok. The ideas might be simple, but they're massive, multi-million-pound organizations, and they're consumed by billions around the globe. They're part of what's called the creator economy. Here's one of the stars that I'm sure parents will recognize. I certainly do. Ryan's World is a YouTube channel starring Ryan Kaji, age 10. Behind Ryan, there's a 30-person team of editors, animators, writers, and voice actors, and they help produce live and animated content. In fact, they release about 25 videos a week, and Forbes YouTube Rich List claims Ryan's World earns a whopping 37 million in 1 year from toy reviews. What a business. Creators like Ryan are the real figureheads of this economy. But with this level of turnover, companies are being built to serve them. Take Karat, who launched a charge card for social media stars. How do you qualify for the card? Well, it's not your credit history. It's your follow count and engagement rates. So that's the creator economy. Something else I'm seeing in new small businesses is the rapid adoption of automation and artificial intelligence. Our customers talk about how they're using AI to optimize pricing, eliminate fraud, and to help with sales forecasts. IDC are global tech analysts, and they recently said that AI has evolved from the early adopter stage into mainstream use. And that's primarily because it drives revenue. Now that people understand and have adopted its power, we're also seeing small businesses sell AI services and products. If you take Sean Goldsmith, who's one of our customers, Sean founded Grow Global. They sell an AI tool that can help their customers with reputation management. The tool analyzes all the inbound messages that come in on the likes of social media. It gauges the sentiment behind them, and then it suggests responses. It's great for customer service and great for helping improve the reputation of Grow Global's customers. Here's a final example of how lockdown startups operate, and it's inspired by gig economy models. We're seeing flatter, more agile small businesses. Instead of the top-down pyramid structures typical in growing small businesses, we're hearing about tons of flexible communities. Harry Peel is one of our customers and a great example of this. Harry used to run a production company, but now he runs Facebook pages followed by production freelancers. He'll post a job ad on a page, the pros come back to say if they're available, they agree a price, and they're booked. Harry owns the business, runs the company, the community, and he wins the work. But he doesn't manage a hierarchical, permanent team in the traditional sense. So, welcome to the era of the lockdown startup. It's a new world of work where entrepreneurs flood into the market and build businesses on digital technology. It's a world where digital is now no longer a choice. It's a non-negotiable part of business. I'm already seeing this play through when I look at our customers that flourish. They're not saying, should I have a website? They're saying, how do I build my business with digital? We believe this shift in mindset is going to power the recovery of our economy. In 2020, GDP contracted by 9.9%, which was the largest annual fall in UK GDP on record. This is really tough, and there are massive challenges faced by all businesses across the UK. But the fact is, the efficiency, productivity, innovation, and connection that digital platforms and tools provide will solve the biggest challenges we face as we rebuild. And this is where we come in. Our role at QuickBooks is to build digital tools that solve your biggest problems, whether that's managing cash flow, late payments, the sheer burden of admin, and confidence, either filing your tax return or paying your employees. In fact, the number one problem we've heard now for years is how can we help small businesses find new customers and then help manage existing ones. Nothing else matters if you don't have customers and you don't take care of them. But this isn't easy, right? Because most entrepreneurs don't start a business to be full-time marketeers. There was a really nice quote from a small business owner that I heard at our QuickBooks Connect event in the US. Marketing can feel like throwing darts on the wall with a blindfold on. That's why we are so excited to have acquired MailChimp, one of the world's leading marketing platforms. We believe this new addition to QuickBooks will be a complete game changer for small businesses. But don't let me spoil this surprise. The innovation spotlights are next, so please do tune in to our Head of Customer Success, Ami Verma, who will give you the scoop on both MailChimp and our amazing innovations. So it's about time for me to start wrapping up. To recap, I said I was going to share 3 trends that we're seeing. Number 1, I talked about the era of the lockdown startup. Number 2, we discussed how these lockdown startups are operating in a completely new way. And number 3, I offered my opinion that digital is no longer a choice. I'm generally excited for our industry, for the small businesses, the new entrepreneurs who are leading the charge as we come out of the pandemic with strength, and for the accounting professionals who are more busy than ever, providing strategic guidance to small businesses to help them maximize their potential. It's been amazing to talk to you today, and after everything we've spoken about, I'd encourage you to take time over the next few days to pause. Think about digital. Think about how much you've already integrated into your business and how it can affect your growth over the next 1, 3, and 5 years. I'd really encourage you to think about the needs of your customers and how digital is changing their behavior. Because I can't say this strongly enough. This is how you're going to grow and succeed. And our amazing lineup today and tomorrow will provide you with the inspiration as you go on this journey. Thank you and enjoy the rest of the show.